Hey everybody, this is Jim at sb500chart.com. It's after the close on January 14th, 2013, and we're going to use some time-honored techniques to try to understand these modern markets. Before we do so, as always, the website and the video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research. And you should be making investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. And that's going to be different for everybody. I'm not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So there's only so much I can say on a day like today, but I'm going to say it. It'll be pretty short so as to not take up a tremendous amount of your precious time. I mentioned over the weekend update that the first sign we would get of a reversal, a likely reversal of this trend that actually started back here with this big gap up. The first sign we would get would be a break below this support line that I've just highlighted. Now, today, I don't know, I want to keep that line where it is. Today was if the market still wanted to go up on that same general slope, but it did so while just kind of meandering above and below this support line. We closed below it by almost nothing. So, as a matter of fact, if I draw it right here, you could say, well, we closed right on that line. So, this is what I'm doing. I have altered the little, call it a range box here. This did go up to 1470, but since we twice got up just barely above 1472 or around 1472, I've extended that because there is still resistance in that area. We never broke 1470 by a technically significant margin. Matter of fact, we didn't even get close to breaking by a technically significant margin. So this is what I would be on the watch out for as we go into tomorrow's session. I would be looking for this trading pattern that developed late in the day. Well, it became more fully developed late in the day. I would look for this pattern to potentially play out as a bear flag. And because it's got an upslope and it comes after not a big downward move, but a loss of about a quick 6 to 7 points on the S&P. That's not a huge percentage, but I find it interesting that this line right here is almost like that little midline that I talk about between these two trend lines that may be defining a bear flag. So what do we do? Well, it's not a bear flag until we really take out this bottom line in an unmistakable fashion. If we do that, then this should play out as a bear flag, and I would look for a couple of areas for potential bounces, and most of these areas come in the form of gaps. So I see a number of places where we could run into some gap support. One is right here, right around 1460. I'm going to make that a very light gray line. Is that light enough gray for you? Okay. The next one is not too far under that, at about 1456 or so. Again, that was pretty much a gap. Could look for that to produce a bounce. Then we have this trend line right here, which is drawn where we got support during the mid-morning on the 2nd, and again the mid-morning on the 8th. That could also give support. We have this trend line right here that defined our channel for a good while. Right here, you know, that is right about, where did it go? Oh, right here. That's down in the 1450s. So none of these are really that far underneath us. But if this bear flag does play out as a bear flag, it doesn't mean that we're falling off the face of the earth. It doesn't mean the Mayans were right, just off by 3 weeks. It means that this run from breaking this downward trend right here, this 3-day run, is probably reversing back, but probably not very far. So I would look for a bounce at one of these 3 lines right here. Now, if this is a more serious sell-off, then we could expect some gap support in the low 1420s. But right now, I wouldn't be looking for that. I think we would need a little bit more of a mature top before we see any kind of sell-off that's going to take us back down to either this line in the 1420s or this rising support line that is drawn from our last 2, call them more significant lows. So I think we've got, you know, there could be a topping pattern developing here. And keep in mind that I'm still thinking that the context of all of this, if we do get that reversal here, this does play out to be a bear flag. I'm still thinking that in the long run, if we come down to the 1440s, bounce around a little bit, that we may be seeing now the formation of a little bit more of a right shoulder to make this a more mature and more tradable inverted head and shoulders pattern. That would be my hope. Hopes don't always materialize, and hopes, to be honest with you, over the years have cost me money. But since I'm not real long in this market, probably about 30% long, I'm okay with that. I would know I was wrong, I think, if we get a break of this teal colored line right here. So if this breaks, then I think we're likely heading back down to some lower levels, probably even in the 1390s or mid 1380s. So that's the video for today. Right now, again, short term. Let's see if this plays out as a bear flag. If it does, let's see if we just sell back 15, 16, 18 points or so at the most, and make a more mature right shoulder that could bring some nice gains if we get this pattern more fully developed. We'll talk more about it when we get there. And I should add, if we get there. But guys, thanks for watching the video. Take care, and look for another video after each day's close this week. Oh, actually, Thursdays will probably be late, but I'll let you know. I'll give you more of a heads up on that. Thanks for watching.